Subject: my ex-wife slept with strippers at a bachelorette party and tried to lie her way out of it. Hello, true story. My name is Roger, and I recently found your channel after YouTube recommended one of your videos to me. To be honest, I wasn't even searching for divorce or cheating related stuff. I was just scrolling one night, half watching videos to distract myself. Then I saw a title that caught my eye. Wife caught cheating at a bachelorette party. Family member told the husband. I clicked, and as I listened, I felt like someone had ripped a page out of my own life and put it on YouTube. The story was eerily similar to mine, down to the bachelorette party, the dancers, and the wife thinking she could get away with it. I never thought I'd be one of those guys writing in, but after watching, I figured it was time I shared what happened to me. Maybe someone out there will hear it and avoid going through the hell I went through. How we met. Let me back up to the beginning. I met my ex-wife India in the most cliché but wholesome way. You know, the kind of small-town love story people always say never happens anymore. It was late, almost midnight, and I stopped by a local diner after working a long shift. She was my waitress that night. I remember she had this tired smile, like she had been on her feet for hours but still wanted to be kind. She made some small joke about me looking like I'd had the worst day ever, and I actually laughed harder than I had in weeks. From that night, we started talking more and more. She told me about how she used to be into the party scene, clubbing, drinking, that whole lifestyle. But she said she was done with all that and was ready to settle down. She told me, and I remember this word for word, "I'm so tired of partying. I just want something real. I can't wait to be a wife and mom someday." I believed her. She carried herself like she was ready for something serious. And honestly, she seemed relieved that I wasn't that type of guy who wanted to be out every weekend. I like quieter nights, dinners, movies at home, road trips. That was the life I wanted, and she acted like it was exactly what she wanted too. We dated for about a year before I proposed, and our wedding came another year after that. The beginning of our marriage was smooth. We laughed a lot. We traveled when we could. And I never felt insecure about her. She wasn't glued to her phone. She wasn't disappearing on weekends. And for a while, I thought I really hit the jackpot. The bachelorette party. Fast forward about 5 years into our marriage. One of her coworkers was getting married, and they planned a bachelorette party. India came to me a week before and practically begged me to let her go. She said, "Roger, I never do anything anymore. I don't have fun like I used to. I'm always at work or at home. Please, just this once, let me go. It's not like I'll be doing anything bad. It's just going to be drinks and some silly dancing. Please don't be that guy that won't let his wife out." I wasn't that guy, and I trusted her. I told her, "Sure, go have fun. Just be safe." She kissed me like she was so grateful, and I remember thinking to myself that I must be the luckiest husband alive to have such an honest, respectful wife who just wanted one night out. Man, if only I knew what was coming. The phone call. 2 days after the party, I got a call from her best friend, Melissa. Now, Melissa wasn't just some random friend. I'd known her and her husband, Brian, for years. We went on double dates, bars, all of that. When I saw her name pop up, I thought maybe she was calling about something casual, but her voice was shaking. She said, "Roger, I don't even know how to say this, but you need to know what happened at the bachelorette party. India hooked up with the strippers, not just one, multiple. I can't keep this from you. Brian told me I had to tell you because it's wrong to let you sit there in the dark." I sat in silence for a minute. I actually laughed nervously and said, "Are you joking right now?" But she wasn't. She went into detail, how everyone was drinking, how the dancers got handsy, and how my wife didn't resist. She said India was the one pulling them into the back room. My stomach dropped. I wanted to hang up, but Melissa kept going, saying she was sorry and she just couldn't keep it a secret. The confrontation. That night, I confronted India. I told her flat out, "Melissa called me. She told me everything. Did you sleep with those strippers? Her face twisted with this mix of anger and fake shock. She shouted, Melissa is lying. She's jealous of me. You're seriously going to believe her over your own wife. I said, all right then, let's clear it up. I grabbed my phone, sat her down, and told her, don't say a word. I'm going to call some people who were at that party. If you're telling the truth, you've got nothing to worry about. The first person dodged the question and said they didn't see anything. The second person hesitated, but eventually admitted, yeah, India hooked up with the dancers. The third person, same thing. 2 out of 3 confirmed what Melissa said. India just sat there, pale, her eyes darting around like she was trapped. The excuse. Finally, she broke down crying and tried to flip the story. She said, it wasn't what you think. I was forced. They pressured me. I didn't want it. I didn't know how to stop it. Nobody did anything to help me. I looked at her and said, so you're telling me multiple people saw this happen and nobody stepped in, and you somehow forgot to mention it until now. She swore up and down that she was assaulted, but I didn't buy it. It felt like a last-ditch attempt to save herself. The court mess. When I filed for divorce, her assault story became the main issue. The judge took her claim seriously and basically forced her to press charges. Suddenly, my divorce was postponed while there was a criminal investigation. 7 months. 7 months of my life wasted on a lie. When the footage came out, it was game over. Everything was recorded. India wasn't forced. She was laughing, dancing, and willingly sleeping with those men. The charges were dropped immediately, and the divorce finally moved forward. The divorce and aftermath. When the divorce was finalized, she was furious. She texted me, you ruined my life. You'll never find anyone better than me. You're heartless. I was drunk. Everyone makes mistakes. Her lawyer tried to argue that I should pay her alimony because she had quit her job during the divorce due to stress, and as her husband, I was responsible for her livelihood. The judge wasn't having it. He looked at her lawyer and said, ma'am, your client's unemployment is a result of her own actions, not her husband's. This court will not award alimony under these circumstances. That was the one time during the whole ordeal I actually felt justice being served, where I am now. India still tries to reach out from time to time, usually with some bitter message about how miserable she is. She'll throw guilt trips about how we could have been a family and you'll regret this when you're alone. I don't even bother responding anymore. I'm free now, but those years of lies, court battles, and her manipulation took a lot out of me. Watching your channel and hearing other men's stories made me realize I'm not alone, and I'm not crazy for feeling like I got blindsided. If there's one thing I'd tell anyone listening, it's this. Trust is a gift, and once it's broken like that, there's no putting the pieces back together. Don't ignore red flags, and don't let anyone gaslight you into thinking their betrayal is your fault. Thanks for letting me share my story, Roger. Hello again. True story. This is Roger writing back with an update since I last sent you my story about my ex-wife, India, and the nightmare bachelorette party incident that destroyed our marriage. First off, I want to thank you again for reading my first email. It was almost therapeutic for me to put it all down, and hearing the feedback reminded me I wasn't alone in what I went through. I thought I'd send in a follow-up, because a lot has changed in my life since that first email. And honestly, this change has been one of the best things to ever happen to me. Moving to Indianapolis. After my divorce, I stayed in my same city for a while, but I realized I needed a fresh start. Everywhere I turned, I saw memories of India. I'd run into people who knew both of us, and I got tired of the sideways looks, the fake sympathy, or worse, the people who acted like I was the problem for leaving her. My aunt, who I've always been close with, gave me a call one afternoon. She lives in Indianapolis and works as the assistant principal at a vocational school there. She said, "Roger, you've got the skills and the patience, Why don't you consider teaching carpentry? We've got an opening for an instructor and guidance counselor. I can put in a good word for you. You'd be great at it." At first, I laughed it off. I had been working construction and carpentry jobs for years, but I'd never really pictured myself as a teacher. But the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. I've always enjoyed showing younger guys on job sites how to do things, passing along tricks of the trade, and I've always believed in the idea that building something with your hands teaches discipline and pride. So I applied, and with my aunt's support, I landed the position, teaching carpentry and guidance. Now I'm in Indianapolis, starting my new life as the carpentry instructor and guidance counselor at this vocational school. Let me tell you, it pays well. The benefits are solid, and for the first time in years, I feel like I'm doing something meaningful. My classroom smells like sawdust every day. I've got young guys and a few young women coming in, some of them with no direction, others who already know they want to start their own businesses one day. I get to teach them the basics, how to measure properly, how to use tools safely, how to frame, cut, sand, and eventually build projects they can be proud of. But it's not just about carpentry. Since I'm also acting as a guidance counselor, I spend time talking to these students about life. And here's the thing, I can't help but share some of my own experiences, especially about relationships and the traps young men can fall into. When I see these guys talking about their girlfriends or stressing out over high school drama, I stop them sometimes and say, "Listen, I know you think this is everything right now, but trust me, there's more to life than trying to keep a girl happy. Focus on building yourself. Focus on your craft. The right people will respect you for who you are, not for what you can do for them." Always wanting to teach. Looking back, I realize I've always had the itch to teach. Even when I was younger, I loved the idea of mentoring, of helping someone else avoid the mistakes I made. When I was married, I ignored that part of me because I was wrapped up in trying to be the perfect husband, working extra hours, coming home tired, doing chores, trying to anticipate what India wanted so she wouldn't complain. Now in this role, I get to wake up every day with purpose. I get to shape young men and women into confident, skilled adults. And it feels good to know I'm making an impact. Advice to young men: avoid marriage. Here's where I really want to dive in, though. Because if I could stand in front of every single one of these young men and give them one piece of advice, it would be this: do not get married. I know that sounds harsh. I know it sounds bitter, but hear me out. Marriage, as it exists today, is not what our grandparents had. Back then, there was a sense of commitment, community, and family honor. Today, it's a legal contract that benefits one side more than the other, and it's not the men. When a woman cheats, lies, or decides she's unhappy, she can burn everything down, and the man is often left paying the price, financially, emotionally, sometimes legally. My own situation is proof of that. India cheated at a party, then tried to lie her way out of it by crying assault, which delayed my divorce for almost a year. If I hadn't had evidence, who knows how that could have gone? I might have been falsely painted as some heartless husband abandoning a victim. Young men, I want you to listen. You have everything to lose and very little to gain by signing your name on that marriage certificate. If you want companionship, you can date. If you want a family, you can have children responsibly without marriage. If you want loyalty, you can build your friendships and your community. But marriage, it's a trap. The lies women tell. Women will tell you they're tired of the party life, just like India told me. They'll say they're ready to settle down, that they're different from those other girls. But when the opportunity presents itself, when they think no one is watching, many of them will revert to their worst instincts. And here's the kicker. Society will excuse it. They'll say she was drunk. They'll say it was a mistake. They'll even say you should forgive her because marriage is about working through hard times. Let me ask you this. If you stole from your boss at work, Would he keep you on because everyone makes mistakes? Of course not. Actions have consequences, except apparently when it comes to women cheating in marriages. My students in Real Talk. I've already had some real conversations with my students about this. One of them, a 17-year-old kid named Marcus, told me he was planning to propose to his girlfriend after graduation. I pulled him aside and said, "Marcus, let me tell you something. You think locking her down with a ring is going to make her stay. It won't. If she loves you, she'll be there without the ring. If she doesn't, no piece of paper is going to stop her from leaving. You're setting yourself up for heartache. Focus on building your trade. Build your savings. Build yourself. If she's still around years later, maybe then you can talk about long-term commitment. But don't rush into marriage. You'll regret it." He looked at me like no one had ever said that to him before, and maybe no one had. Financial freedom. Another thing I tell them is about money. Marriage can destroy your finances faster than any bad investment. Divorce courts don't care about fairness. They care about splitting assets and maintaining her lifestyle. Thankfully, my judge saw through India's nonsense, but many men aren't so lucky. I remind these young guys, don't tie your finances to anyone else. Keep your accounts separate. Build your own credit. Protect your assets. A woman can walk away and still take half of what you've worked for. Don't give her the opportunity. Final thoughts. So here I am in Indianapolis, teaching carpentry and life lessons. I feel fulfilled for the first time in years. I don't wake up angry anymore. I wake up ready to work, ready to help the next generation avoid some of the pitfalls I stumbled into. If you're a young man listening to this, hear me clearly. Marriage is not worth it. Focus on yourself, your craft, your health, and your future. Women will come and go, but your skills, your money, and your peace of mind are yours to protect. Thank you again for giving me a platform to share my story and my update. Maybe someone out there will listen and take my words to heart. Sincerely, Roger.